to quiet night. The typewriter is like a horse that has told me to separate this poem into quatrains. To pensée, new night day. Puzzled whispers listen to a metaphor. I am here and wandering about the earth. My friends have come to the earth. I wonder what it is they have and go about. I listen pensively, wondering what it is they are talking about that I have not heard before. To pensée, continue. Stars, sit calmly on the stairs and stare as though you thought you were of the heavens. There are stars, millions in the dark sky, and we wonder where they have hidden themselves last night. Some nights they come out, some they don't. If they decide you're a dullard, they decide they have better things to do than show and shine unto you. Envoy, I sit on the edge of the heavens, flirting with the stars. I'll read this one. Palms. Only the chatting midnight rain beats down from its sultry showers, berates a unicorn upon its sultry towers, chimes from its unicorn, from its nocturne time and time again, wedding slips upon my eaves of pain. Its cold branches tell of the hours. Laughter and lust become ill, sours the bleak covenant we call the sea. Gods and princesses all begat a nimby-voiced, goat-bearded boy. Odysseus set sail, we never sat along your passions and penance. Destroy the harp of plenty we pluck through the day standing. Bid the sun adieu. Request for this one's from Jean Lupton, so I'll read it another time. So I'll read it now. Called Cooter. Cooter was our family cat. Lion in residence for mother and father. Oh no, Cooter, gray as the Sphinx, I worship your eyes, gray green with knowledge. Eyes green as the ocean floor, I knock at your large door. Great black hunter, so full of poise to please yourself, made 1,000 birds fall. Like ripe plums all fallen, catches no catch can catch a man. Paws that stretch like the ocean's view, ponder why, shine like new. Cling yet swing, it spells death to many, a bird on the wing. Claws he has with sharp ends, hunted down many our fine-feathered friends. All you sparrows, jays and wrens, robin redbreast, this is the end. For every night when the moon comes through, and the fog sits heavy like morning dew, through the mist, the brambles, the briar, comes Cooter as he stalks every flyer through the long grass. Can he ever tire? Mother and father, upon I write yon titty, found oft wise, sometimes witty. As I now sit writing, stewing the lines, the times ahead, not without these fears that have prevented my tongue from saying what I wanted to say. These foolish fears they were that kept me away. Now Cooter knows, and I do too, what's right, what's wrong, with me, with you. He's been here, he's been here. He's never dropped us along the way. He's never worked, stopped only to play. He's shown us, he's known us, an example to many cats. He rests his sleepy snake's head. Life for him an eternal bed of roses and flies and lilies' delight, prancing through the night like Shelley on the wing. My birds take flight. Noble Cooter outlives us all. Only a Libra, said Mad September as he looked me right in the eye at nearly 6 o'clock. The sun going down among the clouds over the moody sunset. Snap to colors and the clocks in your head will start dancing to the stars. I'm trivial among toads, I said to my mind, sitting, talking, laughing, gently to its dancing bear of a bow. Empty jar. Reach out for the empty stars. The jar of words is empty. Empty of metaphors. The poem has come to the last dance. The sonnet like a sleepy string orchestra. The villanelle a wordless chamber ensemble. The sestina a ghostly orchestra and chorus. All empty. All have had the day when they can fill the page with opacity and subtle clarity, coming to terms with reality as I do, as if emerging from a dream. The Wounded Sky, for Steve Mackin. Dreams bright that go unanswered, leaves barely move in the furtive sun. The sky pure and blue as if it had been ordered to do so, ordered to be pure and blue instead of gray and dark. Sunny skies can heal all wounds, my spirit wounded during the day. Big things, little things. Some people have it their way, say it's their way. Poetry learn to think, feel. Sonnets arrive online, on screen. Real life in death and death in life, to quote Yeats. Yes, I mourn Steve Mackin, Yeatsian, whose proud phrases rang out at sacred grounds every Wednesday. It struck me dumb when he passed away. I'm not sure as if it hadn't been intended that he should have been taken from life. Monday music. Sunny Monday, 3rd Street, timid sun, leaves like horned tails of tides, sway in the quiet air. 3rd Street sways to the beat, the quiet bass like mood music, sunrise saxophone, barks in quiet contrapuntal knowledge. The piano began with Eric Satie and fell in love with its own ideas. Leaves like horned tails of tides. The sultry fierceness of the wind in the trees. A strange July filled with fog. People roar their confusion at me. The cold demeanor of the wind, the branches of the trees look like seaweed shaking in the breeze, shakes against the cold gray July foggy sky of the cold-hearted summer chill. So, that's it?
That's the time.
Okay.
Great, thanks a lot, Owen.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, okay. And now our spoken poet, Buford.
All right. Try now to be just your friend years later. Catch up, you say to me as I lag behind. Trying now to just be your friend. I see no sense in hurrying. complicated. It's complicated how other people don't quite understand us and our platonic long-term relationship. Me basically in love with you, your bubbly intelligence, your interest in clairvoyance, your unwavering but hands-off interest in me. At the Giants baseball game, in good seats along the third base line in the second tier, you stand up and frequently cheer in this make-up game double header as the struggling Giants win 1 of 2. You and your striving spirit with nonetheless difficult life sits beside me. You mentioned the problem of my still being in love with my ex-wife 12 years after we've broken up, and at least for me, gone through a heartbreaking divorce after being married for 19 and a half years. She's moved on, you say, a sparkle in your big, perceptive eyes. You need to. Last night as you walked across 19th Avenue after we've seen a movie and eaten together, I look to see you and it is dark and somehow I lose track of you among the people who are standing at the bus stop, like you've disappeared, and I couldn't figure out if you wanted to spend more time together or not. Poetry is too esoteric for most people. Poetry is too esoteric for most people. If you mention that you love Langston Hughes, most people just say, who? People think you're a nerd if you even admit that you like poetry. One talented poet in several of the classes I took just a few years ago said that of this particular calling, she called us poetry nerds. But there's nothing nerdy about poetry. We poets just have a talent that those not blessed with our gift don't. Poetry infuses in us writers a sense of joy and accomplishment. So we're not poetry nerds. Jay walks white-gated as usual across the campus, punching the air. The mainstream students walked across the couples hand in hand, Jay and I walking at about the same speed, unlike the tall students who outwalk me everywhere, especially to the neighborhood Hawaiian restaurant, mostly a takeout place. Jay has a great smile but a frequent frown and has written about what sounds like being hit. Thus, maybe why he fists the air as much as he does. He talks in this low, practically inaudible voice, except when on occasion he speaks in a normal voice, often to dispute something I've said to or about him. All right, I tried something different here. This is called Come On. Come on, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Actually, that's not too different for me anyway. Okay, liking me is cool too. Okay, so it's called Settle Down. Settle down. You don't have to scrutinize me so much. You're not my mother, my father, who are both long gone, and you never were. I'll do a good job, help a lot of really needy kids without your help, and it would assist me greatly if you got back further than arm's length, even nose to nose, as you are at times, a position I really don't need. I've been teaching off and on for over 39 years, and I really don't want your help. And by the way, the students really like me. I don't need you to bump me with your chest. We're not pals. So if you can, back up a bit and let me do what I do so well, instructing young people and help them lessen their autistic and developmentally challenged mazes, and quit looking for my flaws. I know what they are, and if I need your help, I will certainly ask for it. Give me a chance to be the teacher. I know I can be. All right. Let's do that. Don't do that. Okay. No apologies. None of us have anything to apologize for. We work with studious diligence, are paid half what the teachers are, and do twice the work with students. I've heard how bad this room is, how you don't do the right things with students. The teacher of the moment, the third in 2 years, chides. Her head, practically a part of the square computer screen behind diodes hiding from aides and students, she claims to know all is working hard on her burnout from this short-lived job. I didn't quite say that right, but I think you get the idea. We, however, the 4 to 6 hour employees picking up 16-year-olds by the legs to change a couple of diapers a day, escorting students to classes, copying notes for severely, practically nonverbal autistic students, going out in the community while a 16-year-old, 6 foot, 200-pound boy screams his rage back to our classroom to get accused by the 50-something $1,000 salary teacher to our $20,000 devastatingly hard-working selves of doing nothing but the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's the way it goes. Lucky. You're lucky just to have enough to barely live on. You're lucky. You're lucky. In capitalistic America, in expensive San Francisco, you're lucky. You're lucky. The sun shines bright at times. The fog keeps the sweat away. You're lucky. You're lucky. You don't have to put up with a partner who doesn't appreciate you. You're lucky. You're lucky. And my book of poems won't make me rich. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Baseball and poetry at the same time. Baseball and poetry at the same time. The weather too hot for me. Having grown up in the too hot South, the Giants having almost as much trouble as they've had success in the recent past. A fan wanting me to attend a game with him outside of the freestanding knothole. And I worry there's something unhealthy about that, so I come to poetry, where I feel I need to probably be anyway. It's the last game of the year tomorrow, and though I'd prefer to be with my best friend Melanie, I guess I'll go because it's a free ticket, you know? You've got 6 months of poetry without any baseball. The guy who just shaved his beard and has an 11-year-old son said, complicated times. All right. How am I doing on time?
You have 9 more minutes.
9? Woo. All right. Let's go back a long time ago, 7 years ago. That's a long time for me, because I write so many poems. The U.S. Air Force plane shoots toward Einstein's head. The United States shoots toward the heads of Iraqi men, women, children, soldiers, buildings, monuments, statues, desert sand dunes, Gulf battleships, Iraqi babies and baby carriages, pregnant mothers pushing them. Old women and men duck their heads and bombs explode off their houses. Einstein's wild hair stares into the gloom. Meanwhile, here in the United States, we suck up oil, driving and driving and driving. Political one for me, huh? There's some more marks right here. Where are they? Here they are. All right. This was called Annie. helped me with my life and pushed me to do my best, made me think, want me to send my poems to magazines. You're an expert, I think, when you tell me several places to send to magazines. Dark eyebrows, gray hair. She looks Russian. I say to this guy about my age I used to work with at the college library. You email me, say you want to see me in about a week and a half. There's a baseball one. Mr. Natural likes my baseball poems. Oh, he mentions them anyway. It's a big one, a big long one. Manager Bob directed me in his deep southern kind of middle class, not too bumblebee-like voice, as my grandmother used to talk about Bear Bryant, the football coach. Bob was tall and slim and made us run a lot, or at least that's how it seemed out in the hot southern sun, 90-something degree heat and 100% humidity. I came out to throw to a guy who had been sitting in the dugout with me, a second-string outfielder, possibly a future major league manager or coach, if I had the ambition that Alabama seemed to suck out of most people with its collective low self-esteem. Throw the curve, that's my advice, he said, with a short eye emphasis on the word my. I knew he was right. It was my best pitch, almost my only pitch, as my fastball had slowed down, or at least not gained appropriate velocity since I hit 16 years old. Good luck, man. Jeremiah, the warm-up catcher, barked at me as a small crew of claps resounded. My grandfather Boo Boo, of course, at all my games. My younger brother Mike with a night off from his own pitching duties at the Babe Ruth League, and my father with one of his occasional days in town from inspecting lumber for the U.S. government in rural Mississippi or Louisiana somewhere. Throw him the curve, somebody yelled toward me, possibly Jeremiah, but with me, everybody knew what was probably coming, such as the devastating quality of the pitch, at least compared to my moving fastball that sunk when I kept it low, batter swinging over it and missing. When I got it up, though, it sucked and often got hit. So the curve, which I usually controlled better, was a better pitch when it didn't land over the heart of the plate up in the batter's eyes so that he could swat it like a bad-bitten birdie. The first guy was just too big. I wanted to walk him right away like people wanted to do most of the time with Barry Bonds when there were runners on base. I didn't have any animosity toward him because of his big ego. I didn't know about that, though he probably had a pretty good one, the way he had swatted 5 or 6 home runs over the game so far that season. I hit the ball behind my back, actually my right buttock. It was really sweaty, even at night in Alabama. Boo Boo had started carrying an extra towel in the car with us just in case there wasn't one for me to use on the mound when I pitched. The manager didn't always remember, though he was pretty efficient and usually did. Boo Boo was always efficient. I looked at the catcher. Curve, he called. The exclamation point went off in my head, and my heart started jumping around in my chest as I felt the seams of the ball in my hand and delivered.
Yeah. Time's up, you, Dave. You got 5 minutes.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. This is called something that I worked on when I was a janitor at New College of California while I was getting my master's degree. This is called Trash Insecurity. So I decided I wanted us to be closer, but she wasn't necessarily cooperating. I liked her dark eyebrows below all the gray hair. I'm really right about that woman. And she let it grow out a bit, borderline sexy. I liked her understated manner, a challenge and diversion from the usual over-the-top women I was attracted to. She had this quiet voice and barely moved her mouth when she talked. We rode down Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley with all the street people enjoying themselves, or at least pretending to, on the sidewalks, an indication that they might not really be digging all this were the sleeping bags lined up along the streets where they lived. I didn't know about Berkeley, but in San Francisco, they were starting to give people who couldn't even afford the lousiest of flophouse room to live $100 tickets. There was an article in the famous Bay Guardian about it, and of course it wasn't pretty. I don't like living around stuff like this, my friend said, as her beautiful, slightly pudgy right arm turned the wheel. I believed her and had to figure out how to get through her eyeglasses to those beautiful eyes and into her heart. This is 2. I had a couple more days off from work until I had to start back and wanted to see Charles Bukowski's thinly described autobiographical novel, Factotum, portrayed on the screen by Matt Dillon. He'd done a good job, and I wanted Bukowski's inspirational story about non-inspiration to pour over me again. Alcoholic women, good writing, devastation on a large scale, but somehow with class, Bukowski style. Anything? One more time?
You got actually 2 more minutes.
3 more minutes? Okay. All right. Why not? You didn't read that, and I won't do what we doing now. God. I'm trying to find one that are hard about women. It's hard. That's all I wrote that. The good season. I was missing a lot of pitches, not a baseball ones. I was missing a lot of pitches and I didn't care. She talked. Oh. No, this is not, this is about baseball, but it's about going to baseball. The good season. I was missing lots of pitches and I didn't care. She kissed me again and again in the view seats high in the stands where we already had to concentrate hard or we might miss something. Turned sideways in the green wooden seats, smooching hard. The game went by maybe a little too fast. What's the score, I wondered. I put my arm around her wide, then exercised shoulders, I was cold. I was shivering. June in Northern California out in the baseball air. Oakland wasn't good yet. We went out there because it was baseball and we were recovering from alcohol addiction, and it took time away from guzzling up hops, and that was good. She has a really strong jaw, cut out of stone, but much softer. I used to like to nuzzle that area with my nose, though I couldn't do it too much because she really didn't like it. Down at the concession stand, she said, do you have vegetarian hot dogs? And the tall woman offering food for a not so reasonable price said yes. I was really poor then, into my 53-year-old graduate student infancy, having polished off the first semester in what became my master's degree of fine arts. I was a poet, and she was a poet. We're still both poets. I'll just finish up. Just with a radically different orientation. That's it.
A vegetarian hot dog?
Yeah, vegetarian hot dog.
Is that an oxymoron?
Huh?
Is that an oxymoron?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, our next poll is Stephen. Stephen, did you not want to be videotaped?
Of course he doesn't.
No, not videotape.
Okay, great.